What's up, everyone? I haven't made a video in a while. Wasn't really going to make them again. Sometimes it's just easier than typing all the stuff out in the post. But I said from the beginning that Russia and Ukraine, that wasn't going to be World War III. It wasn't World War III. It's never going to be World War III. But what we didn't realize was what was happening behind the scenes. I had reported that all the weapons and money that Biden was sending over to Ukraine was not being inventoried. Well, there was no oversight. There was no one to make sure that there was no corruption. And the United Nations has said it once before, but they just said it again, that Ukraine is the most corrupt government in the entire world. And they said this before the Ukraine war happened. So for us to just send all this money and weapons was just insane. And that's exactly what we did. Don't mind me, I'm thirsty. So there were reports that all the money, all the weapons, all the medicine, everything that was sent over was just disappearing. Zelensky and his upper staff, his close government people that work closely with him, they're all Nazis, neo-Nazis. I mean, it's not a secret. It's not something that it's like, not many people know. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. So the fact that we were sending these things to Nazis, of all people, as we spew this bull crap about inclusivity and being kind to each other and love is love and all this horse shit that the left likes to spew. And this is what they're good at. They say one thing and do another. And a lot of the Democrat followers that don't want to think for themselves, it's easier just to be told what to believe and what to think and what is right and what's wrong. And then you can go on about your day and not have to worry. Because, oh, hey, they're thinking for me. I'll just do what they tell me. Like, take an experimental shot into my body and make my tiny children, babies, whatever, they get shot too when there was no risk to them with the CV. It's insane. And then people just went ahead and did it. Knowing, and then so many people did this with Biden when they stole the election, and then with the thing that, oh yeah, I got mine. Yeah, see, I got my shot, and I'm still here talking to you. I guess you were wrong. It's not deadly. It's not, all these bad things that everyone said it was. And then we see all these blood clots and all these top athletes from around the world just dropping dead. Never seen it before. It's never been a thing. Never happened. But hey, don't blame that thing. Because, even though it's the only thing that's different now from before COVID, but you can't blame that. It has to be something else, obviously. How can't people see this? How can't people realize the lies? It's not hard. I am nobody special. And I can see this stuff so easily for what it really is. I'm not saying I get everything right, and I don't know everything, but anything that I hear, throughout the news and stuff, and I think, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? Or why would it be this? So, it's not hard. And it's not, like, when 9/11 happened, I jumped all over because I wanted to understand. Nothing had, had ever happened like that before, and I wanted to understand what happened, why, could it happen again, whatever. And up to that point, no one ever paid attention to anything much. Yes, a few people did, but for the most part, no one really ever, we just lived our lives. But that's not the world we live in anymore. We have to watch these people like a hawk. The judges, the sheriffs, at the local level, and then, as it goes up. And until we get the changes that we want to see, we can't be lazy. We can't just, oh, well, they're just government doing government things. Just let them alone. No, because there is an end agenda here. There is a means to an end. And we're going through that means right now. The destruction of our dollar and everything else. That is the end of our everything, freedom. They want to bring in a new world order to where we have zero freedom. No, do you understand what cashless, how badly that will destroy our freedoms? What that will do? They literally will track and trace everything you buy, and if you think they won't, you're crazy. And go ahead and enjoy that while it lasts, because you'll find out it's going to suck if we allow it. Now, how do we fix all these things? Again, I don't know. I'm not a fixer. I'm just here to tell people what I believe is happening, so that all these people can make the better decisions in their life and what they need to do next, whether it's fighting back or just preparing. But I feel like the more I bring this stuff to light, the more people that see it, the more people say, you know what, all these people over here are making sense. They say what they see and it makes sense, and then you hear on the other side all these lies that don't make sense, but yet everyone still stays on the side of lies, because again, it's just easier to be told what to believe than to figure it out on your own. But if we would ever want a chance at life again, we can't be lazy and allow these people to steal elections. And Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, half of Justin Trudeau, his cabinet in Canada, half of them are young global leaders from Klaus Schwab school. And he even said they infiltrated Canada's government, which is, a wars type statement. You're not allowed to infiltrate governments. That's not allowed to be done unless you run the world and no one's there to tell you can. So we're in a real bad situation, and it just got a whole heck of a lot worse. Like I said, I knew Russia was in World War III, and it wasn't. Russia and Iran is. What just happened? Yeah, the missile attacks in Israel. This is what we need to pay attention to. Russia and Ukraine's bad, but it's bad because we're just sending money and weapons over there that are just being sold on the black market to people like Hamas. The Iranian arm. The Iranian government, their arm of terrorists is Hamas. So Hamas works straight out of Iran's government. They take orders from Iran's government. Iran does have a military, but nothing like, a big military like some other countries. So they rely on Hamas. And as soon as Joe Biden released $6 billion to Iran a few weeks back, now all of a sudden they're blowing it out of Israel. This is biblical. This is what I was hoping we weren't going to see. And we're seeing it. So I believe we're going to see nuclear war, or at least a nuclear attack on Iran from Israel. That I believe we're going to see before the end of the year. And then when that happens, it's going to catapult us into a whole worse situation. And then don't forget, in September 24, where we sign, every country in the world signs their sovereignty over to the United Nations. Is that the covenant made with many out of the Revelations, the Bible, where it says that there will be a covenant made with many nations? Well, that's exactly what's happening in September. So we're seeing the buildup of World War III. We're seeing cashless society. We're seeing one world government. We are seeing World War III with Israel and Iran. We are seeing at least 5 perfect red heifers being shipped over to Israel for slaughter for the temple sacrifice, which hasn't been done in hundreds of years or whatever it was. I could be wrong on that, but they haven't done it in a long time, and the Bible said that this was to be a main thing to watch for the end. So I don't believe we can. I always said that I believe we could get out of this if we could beat this before the Antichrist came on the scene. Well, up to this point, King Charles is a perfect candidate for the Antichrist, not because I believe that he's so well spoken and all these things, but there's other things like his family crest. It lines up perfectly with the family crest out of Revelations. And dude, listen, there is so much stuff. There is a guy named Tim Cohen who wrote the book, The Antichrist in a Cup of Tea. And whether you believe Charles could be the Antichrist or not, it will open your mind up to what will happen and how it will happen and the things that have to happen biblically to back this all up, so that whoever it is will actually be that person, that Antichrist person. And there's literally not one other person in the world that anyone knows of, that could fit this bill. And Charles fits in so many categories, it's scary. So I'm starting to think we might not be able to get out of this. It might be a wrap. It might be over. Going into the last 7 years, which very well could start, I guess, now into next year. There's different various things that people believe. Point is, sorry, I'm working, trying to drive and make video at the same time. But I don't think we're going to get out of this. I don't know how at this point we could turn things around. So this isn't as much as a video to talk about fighting back against the system and trying to save the country and everything. It's about just letting you know to get right with God, to figure it out. Figure out whatever you got to figure out. Get right with God. Get your family right with God. Put away all the things of this world and focus on God. You're running out of time to do so. And then if we get this mark of the beast and you accept it, there's no coming back from that. And with all the people that willingly took that experimental drug so easily, they'll just do the same with the mark and be smug about it at first. Like they were with the vax. So it's like this whole attitude about being smug, about being rebellious about what's coming.